Hi everyone, my name is Shauna in case you don't know, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the Hunger Games tag. So this was originally created when just the trilogy was out, so when it says things like trilogy, I'm just going to replace it with Hunger Games series, because obviously we now have 5 books out instead of just the original trilogy. I currently have 2 different tag creators linked. One is Alexander Carpenter, I think, and the other is Joey Graceffa. There is basically 12 questions in here, so let's cover this. What is your favorite book / film in the Hunger Games trilogy? My favorite book is probably Sunrise on the Reaping. I would have said Catching Fire if I had filmed this even a year or 2 earlier, but Sunrise on the Reaping really resonates with me. It is such a solid book, and I can't wait to see it turned into a movie. For movie, it is currently Catching Fire, but that's also because Sunrise on the Reaping isn't out, so this could change with Sunrise on the Reaping. I just love the second quarter quill. I love the arena that they were in. I love the characters that you meet in there. It's just so good. It is literally so good, and Catching Fire is phenomenal as well, of course. Something about Sunrise on the Reaping, maybe it's because I read it as an adult, hits so differently. How long would you last on the Hunger Games? Honestly, probably not very long. I don't even know if I would be someone who would let myself be killed, because I think that fear of being killed by someone else, especially on live TV, would be too much for me. So I might take myself out. But I mean, if I didn't, I don't imagine that I'd make it very long. I am super clumsy, and I mean, I have health issues. Like, it's not like I can run very far to get away. What's the strangest thing you thought was going to happen in the books but didn't? I don't know if there was anything really strange that I thought would happen in the books that didn't happen. I think by the time that I had read these books, there were so many spoilers that I'd already seen. I think the strange parts of the books that really stand out to me, I sort of had like already seen. I'm trying to think if there's anything strange that I predicted that didn't happen. Nothing's really coming to mind. Like, honestly, nothing's coming to mind. I feel like the things that were strange shocked me, and I didn't predict anything strange. I don't think I even predicted anything entirely wrong. I'd seen a lot of spoilers for the original trilogy by the time that I read it. I'd even seen some spoilers for Sunrise on the Reaping by the time that I read it, even though I read it within the first week it came out. So yeah, nothing's really coming to mind for this question. How were you introduced to the Hunger Games? So it was popular when I was in the 5th grade, and there's a lot of controversy because there's a lot of like, don't let kids read it at elementary school and stuff. And then I saw the movie trailer and I was like, I actually really want to get into this. And my dad was like, well, we can watch the movie together, but you have to read the book first. I didn't end up finishing the book in time to see it in theaters, especially because when I was reading the book and when the movie was coming out, I was on a trip, and the trip was like to the Midwest, I guess. We went all the way out to Nebraska. I think that was the farthest we went. So I never saw the first one in theaters. I really want to someday. But yeah, that's sort of how I got into it, sort of because it was popular. I saw the trailer, and yeah, my dad made me get into the books before I got into the movies, which is why I read the first book first, and probably why the books mean so much to me, because sometimes I watch book to movie adaptations and I'm just fine with the movies, but my dad was very much like, you have to read the first book first. So yeah. Question number 5, favorite moment that happens in the Hunger Games. My favorite moment for the longest time was the elevator scene in Catching Fire. Growing up, that was just a scene that I just found so hilarious and funny. It's hard to say I have a favorite scene because so many of the scenes are so sad. There's definitely scenes that like hit me a lot harder than others. Like, one that really stands out to me is when my favorite character dies in Sunrise on the Reaping in a very brutal way. That really like impacted me, but I can't say it's my favorite because it's so depressing. Like, the moments where I'm like, okay, think of a scene from the Hunger Games, the depressing stuff comes up, and I don't feel like saying that's my favorite. So I think I will just stick with the elevator scene. Maybe now that I like more action as opposed to like humor, maybe after the tributes are released in Catching Fire and they are able to like swim and stuff, because I find that moment to be so powerful. So maybe I'll go with that because I like action stuff. But yeah, most of the scenes that I think of when you're like, think of a specific Hunger Games scene, I think of the depressing scenes because they're the ones that really stick out to me. Who's your favorite character? Finnick Odair is my favorite character. I think that there's a character in Sunrise on the Reaping that is very close to being my favorite character, but I'm not going to say his name because I've already said my favorite character from that book dies in a really brutal way, and the movie isn't out, so I don't feel like it's appropriate to spoil. But yeah, Finnick has always been a charmer, and I've always really enjoyed him, and I've always really liked how he interacts with the other characters in the series. What district would you live in? So if you look at the map of the United States, I would either be in District 4 or I believe District 7. So I'd either be in lumber or I would be in fishing. I've always liked District 4 the best because Finnick is from there, and also like I grew up on my grandpa's boat where we would go out and go fishing. When I was a kid, like, I fished and I got dog shark like type of situation, so like fishing and being on the sea and the water and stuff has been like a huge part of my life, so I feel like it also fits. But District 7's also fitting because of the lumber stuff, and I live in Oregon where there's tons of trees and wildlife and forests and stuff. What was the most emotional moment in the books for you? My favorite character dying in Sunrise on the Reaping. I think Sunrise on the Reaping, and I guess Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes too, but Sunrise on the Reaping you like very much see the characters' deaths. In Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes it feels like you're like distanced because you're reading it from Coriolanus' points of view. The deaths in Sunrise on the Reaping, some of them are really brutal, especially because the most brutal ones happen to the littlest of the kids, and the kids feel so little. They feel so small. Maybe it's because I'm just older, reading it older. When I was reading like the first Hunger Games book, the young ones that died in there didn't really feel so young to me. So maybe it's just because I'm older, but yeah. My favorite character dying in Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't know if it gives anybody who's read the book any inkling of who my favorite character is, but he's connected to someone that you know from the original trilogy. Question number 9, what item from home would you take into the arena as a token? I don't really know. You know, I don't really know because I just feel like the things that I have attachment to aren't these like tiny little trinkets that I can bring in. I mean, I have tons of like fandom memorabilia of like bracelets and pins and stuff. You know what? Maybe a bracelet. I have a friend who gave me Harry Potter bracelet. Maybe it'll just remind me of my friend when I'm in the arena or something. But like the little trinkets that you'd bring in, there aren't really that many that I'm like, ooh, yeah, that would for sure work. Because the small trinkets I feel like I have less emotional value in. So I don't really know what exactly mine would be, but I'm just gonna go with that bracelet that my friend gave me so that I can think of my friend when I'm in the arena. Question number 10, what was the most evil plan someone made in the books? Evil plan that wasn't followed through was the way that Coin wanted to do a symbolic Hunger Games. That was really evil, and I think, I don't know, that part always feels weird to me. But I think I understand the wanting revenge, but I think it was so dark and twisted to put more kids through that. So I always thought that part was very dark and heavy. Question number 11, what was your favorite part about the films? I don't know exactly. Maybe the way that they designed the arena in Catching Fire in the films and seeing that come to life, maybe that was my favorite. Especially because the soundtrack in Catching Fire was really good and really heightened the feel of the arena, and I really liked that. The final question is question 12. Who is your favorite villain in the series? I mean, the only two villains that are 100% villains all the time that you have in the story are Coin and Snow that are super prevalent. I mean, if you want me to say one of the careers or something that I find cool from the first film, like Cato or Clove, maybe one of those, but at the same time, can you really consider them villains? I mean, they've been trained their whole life for this, and they're victims being socialized and trained and to like this mindset that they have to go into this arena and kill other kids. I mean, think about like Coral in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and like what she says when she's dying. That sort of really resonates with the careers, and all of the people who are killing so many people and who are viewed as like the villains aren't actually the villains. None of the kids in the arena are truly villains. So that was all for this tag. I hope all of you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe me if you haven't already. I upload at least one video a week, so if you want to see more videos like this one, feel free to stick around to see stuff on my channel. On the days I'm not uploading longer videos, I am uploading YouTube shorts of my cosplays, so stick around to watch those as well. And I'll see all of you in my next video. Until next time, everyone, goodbye.